And shalom. Welcome to Cover with Jeremy Pyers. And shalom, Kendall. Welcome. welcome. So, excuse me. So today we're doing Book of Acts, Part 7. And it's going to be Chapter 11. Let me actually... Totally forgot to get the scriptures up here on the screen. Alright, so... There we go. All right, so we're just gonna be, studying through all the writings of Paul here. We're gonna go through it in scriptural context. I know in the Book of Acts, there's not a whole lot, not as many as like say Galatians and such. Ooh, but anyways, so I'm just reading this. We're gonna go over it to show, how Paul he was a excuse me, he was an apostle chosen by Messiah. He didn't do away with Torah. He didn't teach to do away with Torah. None of that. Like all of that is are bad theological assumptions made by men who probably just followed other men, and that's exactly where they got their assumptions. And there's too much negativity going out there as is in the first place. We shouldn't be bringing negativity to a deceased apostle, especially, and bringing shame to his name. Because guess what? He's going to make it into that wedding supper, and you're going to be knocking at the door asking why you didn't make it in. Because making false accusations, especially against someone who can't defend themselves or explain. And we all need each other in these times. Paul wrote his letters not only to these specific congregations, and that's what also needs to be taken into account as well, is their specific letters, so we only see Paul's writings to them. We don't see what they wrote back or what was wrote to him in the first place. We just see he's writing to these different congregations around and correcting them in the way that they perceive it. Like, for example, there's people who have like tattoos and this and that, and there's nothing bad about these people who have tattoos. It's just, they can also relate to the other people who have like tattoos and such. And like, that's how you relate to people. And maybe that's a bad example, but it's the first one I could think of. Not saying anything bad about anyone with tattoos. Hey, shalom there, Z Webby, Brother Robert. All right, so we'll jump right into the reading here. Don't want to take up the whole half hour with just me babbling on. All right, so going to be reading Acts chapter 11 from the ISR 1998, the Scriptures 98. And here we go. So, and the emissaries and brothers who were in Yehuda heard that the Gentiles also received the word of Elohim. And when Kepha went up to Jerusalem, those of the circumcision were contending with him, saying, You went in to uncircumcised men and ate with them. But Kepha began and set it forth in order, saying, I was in the city of Yafo praying, and in a trance I saw a vision. And here's where he's going to explain how his dream that we went over in the last chapter, how it's about men, not animals. See, people will always leave this out when they try to describe that verse to try to say the food laws are done away with. Nope, not at all. So, and in a trance I saw a vision, a certain vessel descending like a great sheet, let me down from the heaven by the four corners, and it came to me. Having looked into it, I perceived and saw four-footed beasts of the earth, and wild beasts, and creeping creatures, and the birds of the heaven. And I heard a voice saying to me, Rise up, Kepha, slay and eat. But I said, Not at all, master, because whatever is common or unclean has never entered into my mouth. And the voice answered me again from heaven, What Elohim has cleansed, you do not consider common. And this took place 3 times, and all were drawn up again into the heaven. And see, immediately 3 men stood before the house where I was, having been sent to me from Caesarea. And the Spirit said to me to go with them, not doubting at all. And these 6 brothers also went with me, and we went into the man's house. And he told us how he had seen a messenger standing in his house, who said to him, Send men to Yaffo, and call for Simeon, who is also called Kepha, who shall speak to you words, by which you shall be saved, you and all your house. And as I began to speak, the set-apart Spirit fell upon them, and as upon us at the beginning. And I remembered the word of the Master, how he said, Yohanan indeed immersed in water, but you shall be immersed in the set-apart Spirit. So if Elohim gave them the same gift as he gave us when we believed on the Master Yahusha, Messiah, how was I able to withstand Elohim? And having heard this, they were silent, and praised Elohim, saying, Then Elohim has indeed also given to the Gentiles repentance to life. See, even these other men understood the dream. You know, they understood a lot more than, any of us alive do today. They had Messiah to teach them everything. So they knew these things perfectly. That's also how they were able to cast out the unclean spirits and, heal the sick. Because they knew all these things perfectly. I'm not saying these things can't happen today and the Holy Spirit can't guide you, but I mean, there's too much people would rather fight than discuss, that's it. Instead of edifying and sharpening each other, a lot of people just come to tear down, really, because they don't understand themselves. So anything you say is gonna it's either gonna cut them down or cause them to study, and the ones it causes to study are the ones who find out the truth. It's the ones who want to bicker and fight and argue about simple things. They're not going to have the truth, unfortunately, because that pride is in the way. And then they're the ones that'll always play victim, always make you to be the bad person. All we can do is pray for these people and stay away from them. Anyway. Then, indeed, they who were scattered because of the pressure that arose over Stephanos passed through to Phoenicia and Cyprus and Antioch, speaking the word to no one except the Yahudim only. Because some of them were men from Cyprus and Cyrene, who, when they had come to Antioch, spoke to the Hellenists, bringing the good news, the Master Yahusha. And the hand of the Master was with him, and a great number, having believed, turned to the Master. And a word of it came to the ears of the assembly in Jerusalem, and they sent out Barnabas to go as far as Antioch, who, having come, and seeing the favor of Elohim, was glad, and encouraged them all with purpose of heart to cleave to the Master, because he was a good man, and filled with the set-apart spirit, and with belief. And large numbers were added to the Master. Then Barnabas went to Tarsus to seek Shaul, and having found him, he brought him to Antioch. And it came to be that for an entire year they came together in the assembly and taught large numbers. And the taught ones, excuse me. So this is the verse a lot of people use to call themselves Christians. And, Strong's, in the Greek, it uses the word Christianos and all that. And I truly do not believe that was what the original wording was here. I truly believe it was Nazarene, because that's what they called the sect that Paul was the leader of, as we'll find out later, the Nazarene. So, I believe the original word is Nazarene here. And let me show you something here. Check this out right here. So, this is from the American Heritage Dictionary of the English Language, which is basically the dictionary of etymology, whatever. So look what it says, where the word Cretan, our English word Cretan, came from. So, it gives the definitions here, but look. The French, Cretan, from Franco-Provencal, person with Cretanism, or formerly common in alpine valleys because of the insufficient iodine in the local diet. From Vulgar Latin, Christianus, Christian, human being, poor fellow, from Latin Christianus, Christian. So, basically, the word they were using, that the Romans used to call them Christian, Christianos, whatever, it was a person considered to be foolish or unintelligent. That's why I do not associate myself with that name at all. I'm not a Christian. I don't care what anybody else says. In all my research I've done in many years, this is what I found. I found this a long time ago. This right here. And that they use the word Christian 3 times in the New Testament as a derogatory term or a term of hate. They never called themselves Christians. Here it says, at least it says they were called Messianites first in Antioch. In all my research I found, there's many in the original Greek. The word right here is actually like Natsu or something like that. Like it takes a lot of digging to find it, but basically it translates to Nazarene, which means branch of Messiah. Grafted in branch of Messiah. Like exactly what it means. And Watchmen. Alright, let me check the chat here. Hey, welcome Anthony, Johnny, brother, Sister Windfeather. Welcome. Wendy, the middle of cooking. It's all good. Let's see. Yeah, it was a derogatory term. Absolutely. Yeah, and that's the whole thing. And like people will promote calling themselves Christian, and I don't hate these people. I don't. We shouldn't like hate on them because they want to call themselves Christian, but we should show them these things. Like I'm actually gonna put together a study again about this because when you study history of words, you will find out the entire English language was built off of spell casting, spelling. Like, where do you think that word came from? To cast spells. Like, literally every English word we use, it has a hidden double, triple, even a quadruple meaning to it. Hence why they use play of words so much in like politics and like the higher ups, the predator class, as I call them. They use these plays on words because that exact reason. They have hidden meanings. The entire English language is a spellcasting language. And that's what people don't understand. Every single day of the week was named after a pagan god. Every month was named after a pagan god. So people with these arguments that, oh, Saturday means Saturn, the day of worship to Saturn. Well, yeah, Sunday means the day of worship to the sun god. And like Wednesday, like every day of the week has some kind of pagan worship. The days were originally numbered in Hebrew. The months were originally numbered in Hebrew. Like, it's Satan that's deceived the entire earth into falling for his treachery and deceit and lies. And now most everyone believes a lie and they think the truth. They hate the truth. Nazarene Yami. Yep, exactly. Yeah, and I mean as you read, even here through Acts, and I shared this meme earlier, it's the original followers of Messiah called themselves followers of the way. Why? Because Messiah said, I am the way, I am the door. Follow me. So I follow the way. I don't follow Christianity. I don't follow Judaism. I don't follow any secular earthly religion that Satan has grabbled his little hands into. Like, there is no secular religion Satan has not infiltrated, especially those ones over there in Israel claiming to be Jews but who are not. Those are Khazars. Not even from the line of Seth or Shem. Sorry. Not even from the line of Shem. They came from Russia and converted into Judaism, then moved there, claiming a Jew isn't even a biblical word, honestly, it's an English word. But a Yahudim, someone of the tribe of Judah, was exactly as I said, someone of the tribe of Judah, which was one of 12 tribes that made up the nation of Israel. The entire nation, north and south. They called the north nation Sumeria. The lower nation was Judea. And there's all this talk about, dark-skinned people are they're true Hebrew Israelites and da-da-da-da. No, it doesn't say that. Nowhere in Scripture does it say that, unless you take verses out of context. There's many verses that say this person was white as snow, this person was red, this person was this color. And like, I believe all the tribes were all 12 tribes, 12 different skin tones. Like, same family. That's why racism is unacceptable. It is just completely unacceptable and it's disgusting and hateful. We shouldn't hate because of a melanin in our skin. Because, yes, where you live, over time, your body adapts to the area where you live in. So, certain areas, like hotter areas, you would get more melanin. In cooler areas, it would be less melanin. And that's just how it is. No, it's not evolution, none of that garbage. It's just that's how Yahweh made us to adapt, you know? See. Did I finish reading? My apologies. I didn't. Let me read these last four verses. And in those days, prophets came from Jerusalem to Antioch. And one of them, named Hagab, stood up and indicated by the Spirit that there was going to be a great scarcity of food all over the world, which also took place under Claudius Caesar. So the taught ones, each according to his ability, decided to send relief to the brothers dwelling in Yehuda. This they also did, and sent it to the elders by hands of Barnabas and Shaul. So yeah, hold on, give me 1 second. We'll go here. So yeah, I mean, see, started watching the documentary about the pyramids. Yeah, yeah. No, yeah, I remember that one. It was the one on how they melted they melted the stones. And people have actually done those. You can still do that today. You can get a mirror, reflect it from the sun, and you can straight up melt anything. And I 100% believe not only that that's how they did and built pyramids and these great walls and monolithic structures. I believe also the Nephilim helped with that as well because they were like giants, so they can also like build these huge machines to build such monstrostic structures. Ugh, can't speak today. They had chimera, giants, and DNA. Yeah, exactly. They played with DNA. They did all kinds of stuff back then. Yes, everyone is beautiful. Yahweh made 100%. Yeah, the pyramids in the Grand Canyon. Yeah, yeah. They found they found a lot of stuff in the Grand Canyon. Not only that, is not far from the Grand Canyon is where they filmed the moon landing. It's called Cinder Lake, Arizona. Check that bad boy out on Google Maps. Actually, I want to go there and check it out. I want to bring you, Sister Wendy, because you have that P1000, and we can zoom in on them craters. Yeah, yeah, exactly, Wind Feather. Yeah, I remember when I watched it, and I just remember thinking, I was like, this is how they did it. And then the guy is trying to present it to like the historical societies and all that, because it doesn't fit their narrative. Of course, they just throw it out because peer-reviewed Jesuit-controlled garbage. Where did the Jesuits sit? Oh, the Vatican. Oh, that's right. Yeah. Oh, yeah, the Vatican that also owns a telescope here in Douglas, Arizona, called Lucifer. Yeah, I went and saw that guy too. It's pretty disgusting. Anyway, that one's about 3 hours away. So is the Cinder Lake, but that one's opposite. That one's north. The Lucifer telescope is west of me. No, east. Sorry, east of me. Yeah, the fake moon landing. Yeah, I made those memes about it, and I literally scored or scoring through the just. I went through all those pictures on NASA's website that they had of those testing areas, and then literally I noticed this little thing. Like you can see kind of like the craters how they line up, and then you see their picture of the moon, and the craters are exactly the same everywhere. Even the tiny ones are the same. And then I put it all together. I was like, this is it. This is exactly where they filmed the moon landing. And then they fly over with like some kind of helicopter filming it. Be like, oh yeah, this is the surface of the moon, and blah 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 blah. And yeah. And then while they have the same mountains in the background that you can see on the moon pictures, like, yeah, it's crazy. And then, but people believe the moon landing's fake, but not that we live on a flat, geocentric stationary plane covered by a firmament with the sun, moon, and stars in it, as described by over almost 300 verses in just the 66 books of canon alone. But I digress. When you go, what's ironic is when you go to an observatory, they put the stars and constellation on a domed roof. Yeah, exactly. Just like I went to a Biosphere 2 here in Arizona when I was a kid, when it was actually open to the public. And guess what? It's a dome. Powers that shouldn't be don't pay for it. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Oh, I know that we do have exactly, Kendall. Sorry. I know they still know, or let me rephrase this. So the mud floods, if you haven't watched my videos on them, please do. I will actually bring them up here in another tab and show you which videos they are. Let's see. Come on. Here, let me so my mud flood videos. Where's my videos? Come on. Apologies. Here we go. So, let me change. There we go. So, the mud floods. The thing is about those, I can't tell you everything about those. But this video right here, history is not as it seems in a giant way. And where is it? So many questions, not enough answers. Those are my two mud flood videos. They're actually one above each other right here. But these are my two mud flood videos I've done so far. I'm planning on doing more. There's so much involved with it. It's not easy. It's not an easy thing. But I do believe the Predator class knows about all this technology. History is literally inaccurate beyond 200 years. Our forests are only about 200 years old. The ones that are older, like the giant redwood ones, like are very rare. I think there was some kind of reset the elitists pulled, and to get rid of all the, because it was free energy. Everything was free back then. There wasn't monopolies on this or that. It was everything was free and shared. The Predator class wanted to stop that, so they had to reset everything so they can basically build everything back up so they're the ones getting money. And then they attribute these technological advancements and such to certain people in history who will basically push their agenda, or they'll pit like a fake right left kind of agenda like they do nowadays, all just to hide the truth. not only from free energy and free food, free everything, to hiding Yahweh. Like, that's the main agenda. And yeah. What do you make of the old world city looking like a circuit board? Yeah, I was going to get into that as well on my videos. And that's what I believe it was. It was an energy grid. Like, that's why they just reuse that technology and they put it in our computers today and say, "Oh, we just came out with this." No, they didn't. Cuz that whole thing, cities were entire energy grids. They had what they call cathedrals today. Those were the main, those were the power generators. They had generators, free energy generators in them. And the acoustics, cymatics, all that, everything was like, it was all made for healing and helping, things like that. Were they perfect? Was that society perfect? No. But they actually cared about people, and they were, in my beliefs and all my studies I've done, I believe they were trying to help everybody, and it was all free energy, hence all the Star Force, because you need to have water to interact with the ether and the air, and the cymatics all together. It's a whole thing. It's probably too much for me to get into right now, but I believe they basically took the old energy grids, just miniaturized them, put them in, and made computers. And that's exactly what the technology is. Because if you go on Google and you look at these just areas in the middle of nowhere, there's already a grid laid out there. I believe these are ancient grids that the ancient people knew about. And no, America was not discovered in 1492. It was discovered before King Solomon, because Solomon was coming here to gather all the resources like copper and gold and such, because here in America, it's like plentiful. And that's where the Native American tribes came from, all that. Anyway, that's a whole other story, but that's going to be on my mud flood videos as well. The evil one still kills and destroys, absolutely. And yeah, thank you. I saw one that said I should do another mud flood video, and yeah, I'm planning on it. Too much evidence they try to hide from us. Exactly. Yeah, yeah. I try to do my mud flood videos in the biblical perspective, like, because I'm subscribed to like John Levy and all those mud flood guys, and they have interesting points, but they don't have the biblical perspective, like like one of us would have. So that's why I'm doing it like that. And no, I don't believe in preterism. Preterism is false. It's false. It's a deception. Like, I don't believe mud flood proves preterism. I believe it proves we just rebuild what has already been there, and we cover over it, and we make claims that, oh well, we did this, we created that. No, we didn't. Because if you look at the buildings they build nowadays, they're garbage compared to these buildings that have been standing for like thousands of years. Like, there's no building made of steel and glass you're going to see standing 1,000 years from now. No, the steel is going to rust away and the glass is going to break apart. And it's just going to return to dust. These ancient buildings, I believe, they were created pre-flood. And then through the generations after the flood, they rebuilt them, repurposed them, so forth, and kept like repeating that process all through time until we get to modern days, where the predator class wanted to take control, ultimate control, because, well, we're in end times, and deceive the entire earth and say, oh, well, just the further you go back in history, the more primitive we were. No, that's wrong. That's absolutely wrong. If you actually study it out, you'll find we were way more advanced, even more advanced than we are today. They hide all this. They hide it all. Star Forts. Yep, exactly. Actors. It upsets me as well, sister. Yeah, UAP. Yeah, he's a good one too. Yeah, there's not many like biblical mud flood perspectives, and the ones that are, they kind of push like a preterism narrative. And no, 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 no. I was actually, that's where I was going. So I believe they were just, these buildings were from pre-flood, built by Nephilim, and then after the flood, a lot of them got destroyed, flooded over. Hence, why a lot of them are covered in mud. And then each civilization would either rebuild these buildings, tear them down to build new ones, etc., all the way up until now. And then the predator class just, because he who has the gold makes the rules, right? And they can write his story as his story. Excuse me, his story. So history is written by the ones in control. The ones in control don't want us to know that true history of our realm we live in, that is not ever expanding. It is not infinitely expanding. Yada yada. But anyways, everything we've been taught is a lie. It's all connected for one purpose: to deceive the entire earth, to turning their face from Yah, to thinking scriptures are a joke, to think Satan is cool. Oh yeah, rock and roll party all day long. Same thing when you get to hell, right? Nope. That's not the case. There is no hell. It looks like I'm losing signal here again, of course. That's how they do me. That's how they do me. Here's a free. Yeah, there's a lot of stuff. Yeah, Columbus was a Mason, Jesuit, Freemason. So, Jesuit, Mason, Illuminati, Brotherhood, literally all the same thing. Same thing, just different wings. Like, just how all the media and food companies are basically controlled by like three different main entities that are just under different names. Oops. They're just under different names. So, but it's really the same company. That's exactly how, Freemasonry is. Sorry, they grappled me. I should be back here. Anytime I start talking about truth, that's when they like to grapple. Yeah, the one with Paul Revere's Jack Black. Yeah, I've seen all their stuff. They put it in everyone's face and mock us. And only ones with eyes to see and ears to hear know. And the symbolism's everywhere. I've been teaching Callan all about symbolism. Literally, it's everywhere. I've known that for years. They've had way better architecture with castles that last longer too. Yeah, exactly. Where are they all? Way better quality buildings, even back in the 17 and 1800s. It's all about the money. Exactly. Like no house they build today is gonna last barely even 100 years, I bet. Actually, the houses they've built in the last 20 years, because I used to be a framer, probably won't even last like 50 years. Like you can punch through the wall and make it to the outside, literally. They don't have anything but drywall, some styrofoam, some chicken wire, and some plaster. That's literally all houses are. Unless you're rich and you want to build like brick houses. But all these cookie cutter houses they build everywhere, I don't know if they're in like all your cities, but especially here in Phoenix, they're just cookie cutter houses, cookie cutter neighborhoods. They're all the same house, all the same layout, all the same color. You can like kick through the wall and get in, literally, and it's so cheap. You have like a 5 foot yard all around your house because your neighbor's so close that literally the wall of your neighbor's house is the wall of your yard. And that's not a lie. That's legit serious. And it's they want to pack us into these cities for a reason. That's why it says in scriptures, flee the cities, especially when you see the abomination of desolation. Excuse me, something's in my eye. Wait, what page are you talking about there, sister? Andrea? I said it right, right? It's not Andrea, it's Andrea. I remember that now. Oh, well, invite me, whatever it is. Little boxes on the hillside. All right, all right. Jesuits run it all. Masons, Illuminati, and the rest are branches of them. Exactly, exactly. Yeah, exactly. Cookie cutter houses that cost 500,000. Oh, it's not overpopulation at all. The entire population of the earth can fit into Texas. They just want you to think it's overpopulated. So they cram everybody into these cities to make you think, oh, there's nowhere else to go. But you can drive for hours and be in the middle of nowhere for hours with nobody around. But yeah, no, overpopulation, global warming, this scamdemic, all of that is just deception and lies to scare. It's scare tactics to scare people into just giving up their freedoms and rights and saying, "Oh, here, tell me what to do. I don't know what to do. I need the government to tell me what to do because I'm a sheeple moron." Anyway, yeah, I don't think there's as many people as they say they are either, Wendy. There's no way. They only cram people in the cities and make it look like that. Yep, they push their evil agenda throughout time. Yeah, they've literally had thousands of years to work this agenda out. How do you count 7 billion? I run out of fingers. Yeah, I know, right, Johnny? I don't remember taking part in any kind of poll or count. I remember refusing the what was it? Consensus or census, whatever. Tossed in the trash. And yeah, speaking of that, all these polls and the numbers show this, the numbers show that. How many of you actually know anybody that's ever taken part in any of these polls in history? Literally. They literally pull these numbers out of a hat, throw it out there, use it as scare tactics to make this small amount that actually believe the agenda make themselves feel good and make the ones who aren't or don't believe the agenda or who are on the fence and not sure, they see these numbers and be like, oh, well, then maybe I should go with the majority. And, well, if the majority's doing it, it's wrong. And yes, they made up those numbers. They lied about it. I've never been a part of any of these polls. I've never known anybody to be a part of any of these so-called polls that they take. My house isn't cookie cutter, thank goodness. But my house was built in 99. Yeah, that's still when they were still building them pretty decently back then. Yeah, whatever they say, figure the opposite. Exactly, sister. Yeah, Phoenix. I actually grew up in Mesa, which is so Phoenix has like all these subsidiaries or whatever. It's basically all Phoenix, but they're different cities. All the Phoenix metro area is what they call it. And yes, Wendy, according to that, you live in Phoenix as well. But anyways, yeah, like Phoenix, you can literally drive from one end to the other, like drive for 3 hours and still be in city. Like it's insane. It's so gigantically enormous here in Phoenix. It's one of the biggest area cities in the country, I think. Like I haven't been to one that I've seen that has a bigger layout, honestly. Like where else can you drive literally 3 hours and still be in the city? Like literally city. It's insane. Up north though, like up north is cool. It's not popular up there. It's more wooded up there. I actually like it up north. There's a lot of springs, natural springs. Lots of natural springs all over Arizona, really. There's hot springs. There's one actually by the Lucifer telescope. That's how I saw the Lucifer telescope. There's natural hot springs like 5 miles from it. Oh, do you, Anthony? That's awesome. That's where I grew up in Mesa. Oh, you grew up in Mesa too? Oh yeah, that's right. We talked about that, Wendy. I mean, I live in Phoenix now. Mesa is kind of like overrun by Mormons. And pretty much a lot of cities here are Mormon run. Unless Phoenix isn't, it's more kind of run down. Like you said, Sister Andrea. And then when you get more west, that's where they've got all the newer cities. And it's not so run down, but it's more cookie cutter and like automated. They're actually making Buckeye one of the first what was it, smart cities. And like that I'm telling you, more and more it's getting more and more closer to the day when I'm just getting out. I'm gonna go live in the wilderness. I've got seeds, I've got supplies. I need to get more, but I've got weapons, I've got all kinds of stuff. Like need to be prepared for anything, and we need to be able to hunt, fish, grow our own crops, all that. Like that's also what they have gotten rid of over time as well. Is everybody used to grow crops. Everybody used to know how to fish and hunt, and like people used to just trade this crop for that crop or this meat for that meat. They slowly got rid of that as well. So now that we're all super dependent on government and stores and this and that, and like hardly anyone knows how to live off grid or grow their own food. We really need to get back to that, especially in these times that are coming. Now that they mandated a certain jabby jab. And I'm thinking more and more we need to come together wherever we are and build our own communities. And yes, I know, Wendy. I know not without you. Of course, you'll be there, sister. But I think we need to create communities to do these things, grow our own food and crops, and have our own livestock, and be able to trade with one another, and be able to even help people, who aren't believers, but who aren't going to take the jab or the mark. You know, there's going to be non believers who are going to refuse to take the jab and the mark because they know it's the jab and the mark, but they don't really know scripture. So I mean, there is going to be these ones. So we have to help them as well. We have to help people that have lost their job because of the jabby and that cannot find a job because of the jab. We shouldn't be putting on Facebook saying, "Oh, well, if you're able to work, I'm not going to help you." Well, that's a prideful attitude. And I literally saw that exact post and then got attacked when I said we should help the needy. And what about people losing their jobs because they won't take the jab? Oh, where there's 50 million job positions open and no one's taking it. Oh, well, why? Because they've been requiring the jab to get a job for a few months now. That's the whole thing as well. Like, it's hard to find a job where they won't accept you if you don't get the jabberoo. And like, if somebody is in need and they're and they go online and they're asking for help, the last thing we should do is mock them and scoff at them or tell them, "Oh, you're just begging for money or whatever." Yes, there is ones that do that on Facebook, but I'm talking about brothers and sisters that if you see they're in need, please help them, like, if you're able. That's what we're required to do according to Torah, to help the poor, the needy, the widowed, the orphan. All of them, they need help. We need to come together in these last times. We need to stop bickering and fighting and arguing on social media on whose watch is more accurate than the others. Like, it's nonsense. If someone's saying, "Hey, don't take this jab, it's most likely the mark," don't call them a false prophet and make false accusations against them. Ask maybe, "Hey, why do you think that?" Have a discussion about it. I've had to block so many people recently because of that. 100%, I believe this is the mark. Is the AC here yet? No. He could be, actually. I believe he is behind the scenes right now. And that's the whole thing, is I believe they're implementing all this before he comes into play. And then guess what? He's going to be, "Whoa, well, you guys already got the mark, so..." And those who are downplaying this are foolish and ignorant. Sorry, a bow and arrow are going to be extremely difficult to get around. Good in the woods. Not really, brother. They used bows and arrows and even knives back in the day. Traps. Learn to trap. Learn all kinds of stuff, brother. Just make sure it's clean. A clean animal. Here in Arizona, we have lots and lots of quail, lots of cows. Actually, there's a story. So there's this car dealership. It's called Tex Earnhardt. It's been here for like 50, 60 years. It's like the most popular one here in Phoenix. Like, everybody knows Tex Earnhardt. I'm sure you do as well, Wendy. Anyway, this guy, he owned a ranch, a bull ranch. And he had just so many cows, like hundreds of thousands of cows. And he passed away, and his sons were like these animal activists, whoever, and they just released all his cows and bulls and such into the wild here. So now Arizona is just going to be flooded with wild cattle because of that, really. And like, honestly, I believe that was set in motion by Yah for the end times, because those who are in the wild, we're going to be able to find these wild bulls and cattle out in the wilderness. Not only are we going to be able to like take them in, but we're going to be able to eat them as well. And like, It's awesome. Like, it's crazy. Like, beautiful. Anyway, just a little story I like to share. Placed ninth in the world in archery. It's fun and all, but not as effective as a rival. Well, yeah, of course, brother. But archery skills are good to have. I got a crossbow, I got a bow, I got all that. I actually have it's like a 300-pound crossbow. That thing will go right through a tree. Like, seriously, I tried it. It's easier to make arrows and bullets. Yep. You can get a stick, carve a point at the end, and shoot it. You can't shoot it out of a gun, though. Yeah, free food from Yah. Yeah, it was just. So they did it as like a part of their activism to like free the animals, but it just ends up filling the wilderness with cattle. It's quite amazing. Lots of elk, turkey, longhorn. Oh yeah, yeah. We got lots of elk out here as well. Lots of deer. Yeah, we got turkey up north. Quail. Yeah, I mean everywhere where you're at, there's bound to be like many clean animals you can hunt or trap or even, gather as livestock and raise as livestock so that you have like eggs and meat and such like. It's just yes, it's awesome. I we love you as well, Sister Windfeather. Anyways, enough of me talking. I love you all as well. It's awesome fellowshipping. I just love to fellowship. I do. Even though I love fellowshipping in person more. But online, we do what we got to do. So it's just amazing. I care about everybody. I really do. Even the angry people on Facebook, the haters on Facebook. The reason I say things is because I love and care. If I didn't love and care, I wouldn't say anything. Well, you're on your own. Good luck. I hate going on Facebook and I avoid it as much as possible, but I know there's ones on there who fight the good fight as well. And there's a lot of people who really don't understand how much hate gets thrown at me. And I don't know what it is. It's just I get a lot of hate on there just for sharing. I'll just share a scripture and get a bunch of hate. Like literally just share a line of scripture and get a bunch of hate. I won't even say anything or add commentary or nothing. Just a line of scripture and get hate. And that honestly, I just take it as I'm on the right path. We're all gonna have to face persecution, and apparently that's my persecution is dealing with morons and yeah, vipers and wolves, false teachers, and calling them out and getting attacked for it. And I don't mind though. It's kind of upsetting at first, and I do need breaks. Somebody's got to tell these people too, but there is a line of not casting pearls before swine. I understand that. If they don't want to listen, that's when you just drop them. Get them out of there. And we're gonna I'll end up at Kendall's. I know, right? She keeps inviting everybody over. If you shoot a deer with an arrow, the arrow will be destroyed. Depends on what kind of shank you're using and all that, Anthony. I've been bow deer hunting. You need a tip, a razor tip, or something of that nature, and you need a strong shank. and a strong bow that's going to penetrate into them. Like, that's, I know about hunting, brother. That's why you gotta aim for the deer's chest and their heart, because their skulls are thick. You know, if you're hitting on anywhere on the back, anywhere, you know, it'll be a wound, and they'll live and die at some other time. But you have to aim for, honestly, anything you're hunting, you gotta aim for their weakest spot, and that's their heart. Yeah, we need to be growing stuff, not just scavenging. Exactly. That's what I was saying as well. You know, that's why I have seeds. You know, find an area, set up shop basically. Start growing, raising livestock and all that. The hunting and all that is for like, you still need to go to do that, but it'll get less and less as you accumulate more livestock and have more seeds to grow, etc. Like, that becomes less and less. I'm just saying, you know, gather weapons and stuff for like the immediate when you're going out. And that's when it's going to be the toughest, because you're going to have to acclimate to that as well. It is not easy, especially when you're going to have to really hunt for your own food and trap. That's going to be the real test. And that's when fasting comes into play as well. Learning to fast, because it teaches your body and helps your body learn to go without food and water and such. Just like, you know, preparing for Sabbath day, it helps us to learn to prepare for, you know, a time when we're going to be unable. Like, all this, Yahweh set all this up to prepare us for not only, you know, tribulation and what's coming, but also for the new Jerusalem, the new heaven and earth. It's all as preparation for that and practice, getting to know Him. It's all His word is connected, just like how all Satan is connected in deception. Like, it works both ways. Yeah, Colorado seems like a pretty cool place, honestly. Like, Arizona's, it's not too bad if you can dig the heat. You know, our sheriffs and our mayors are against mandating things. A lot of people here, they don't wear masks. A lot of people here do ride the Trump train. They do, but I mean, at least I'm not saying the Trump. I don't want to say that the Trump train is on the right path at all. It's not. At least they're kind of awake, and you can kind of like speak to them and start to open their eyes to what's actually going on. That there is no right or left. It's all one. That's just a narrative they push. But yes, Robert's family has land. If we can move there, get a big garden going. Yes, I recommend that. Absolutely, Andrea. And my brother has land here in Arizona as well. And I actually wanted to start growing stuff on his land. Waiting for him to dig a well, but he won't have to. Anthony and Jeremy will do that part. Yeah, I know, right? There's a lot below the Rockies. Yep. Not much heat up north. Yeah, exactly. That's what I was talking about. My brother has some land kind of up north.
Let's get
And it's
some.
really nice up north here. And it doesn't get too cold, doesn't get too hot.
Let's get some exercise. First up, we start with.
Whether it be. All right. So, thank you all for joining me this evening. I love talking with you guys. I got to go. I'm getting kind of hungry and thirsty.
You shouldn't have had pizza.
His word always makes me hungry and thirsty after I do a big study, though. It's pretty interesting. I get spiritually fed, and then my body's like, hey, you're hungry now. Your governor's a clown. Oh, man. Ours is, I mean, he's a clown, but he's against mandates. It's not the county sheriff here in this county I live in. It's another county. But that dude's like, he's a, I don't know how else to put it. He's a butt kicking sheriff. Like, he's against their agenda that they're pushing.
Hi.
He's against the mandate. He's against the jab. My brother has the land right in his county, actually. So I think that's kind of a plus. I don't know. I think because up north is like Pinal County, and that's who the sheriff I'm talking about. And that's where I was really looking to move, is up north here, where natural springs are. So we just always have water. We always can water the food. Like, always have water for livestock. Just find some land somewhere and set up shop. You know, really. He's a creepy homosexual drag queen. Oh, goodness. Pushing that agenda.
One more pray.
Oh, yeah, we're going to pray. We always pray.
One more pray, everybody. Okay.
Anyway. Look, see, Andrea's talking to you. Or Andrea. She says, bless you and Callan. We pray you can get out of Illinois.
Hi.
It's been a huge spiritual battle. Yeah, I hear Illinois and Chicago and all them, they're pretty bad over there. Any of these blue states that I would recommend getting out, honestly. Like, a red state's better than a blue state. Truly, truly. Not to pick sides, there is no sides, but to be honest, there kind of is on that perspective. Yep, Southwest, that's where I'm at. You know, there's spots in like Mississippi that are good. I've heard it was North or South Dakota that was good. Don't remember which one. There's still a few states that are good. Florida, I mean, I don't know if you like to ride the Trump train and like people that ride Trump train. And it's kind of similar to here, I guess. See, look, they're all saying hi to you. Gloucester, Missouri. Baton Rouge. Yeah, see? You know, it'd be awesome if we can all like find land together. It would be totally awesome to fellowship all the time with all of y'all. Like, it would be awesome. Yeah, Callan. He gets on the videos every now and then sometimes. But a lot, what is that? Oh, his scroll. With a happy face.
Hi. You can't see his face because it's small. And it's blurry.
Yeah.
It's easy for us to see.
Mm-hmm.
And I forgot Softy.
But anyways, thank you all. Yeah, Callan joins me every once in a while. He likes hearing scripture. I mean, he yeah, Ducey is his last year this year, yeah. I actually went to one of the protests at the Capitol when all these lockdowns first started happening. Because, you know, a sister Jennifer I know here, who she doesn't watch my videos, and she's a cool sister. She needs some help and some prayers, but I went with her and we went and protested at the Capitol, and I waved the Yahuwah banner. I had Callan with his little baby Yahuwah banner. Oh, good night, Kendall. My apologies. I'm about to get off here as well. I keep meaning to. I just get caught up in the chat.
Don't forget the one more pray.
I live in a totally blue state, Oregon. Yeah, yeah. Like the blue states, they push that agenda hard, and it's just any red state really is better than a blue state.
Is that a rainbow you said and a white heart?
Yeah, that's Yahuwah's bow.
Oh,
Callan is an Irish name there, brother.
oh, pray Yahweh and
If you didn't notice our Irish heritage.
I can see your messages.
Yes, I have actually Irish, German, and Italian in me. So, and as you could tell, Callan there got a lot of the Irish as well. That's why I wanted to name him that. I think that's how I was able to drink a lot back in the day, too, is the Irish and the German in me. Both heavy drinkers. I could literally down like a 30 pack and hardly feel it back in the day. I don't do that anymore. I hardly drink anymore. I'll have some wine on like Passover and Sukkot. I'll have a glass of wine here or there, but drinking's not my thing anymore. I just no. I did notice.
I can see your happy face, your laughing face, and your other laughing face, and your heart, and your other laughing face.
Oh, I noticed that, brother, with your accent.
We actually can't see your messages because.
Yep.
Yeah.
Hey, please stop interrupting me, brother.
Okay.
But yes, I always loved the Irish accent. I don't know if it's just because it's in my blood. One of the ministries I follow, Almond House, they're in Ireland there. And, I don't know. I felt drawn to the Irish. In turns, in my studies, I found out they're from the tribe of Dan as well. And many from the tribe of Dan made it there. And there's a whole nother study on that. I keep getting sidetracked in the chat. My apologies. But no, awesome, brother. Awesome. Johnny, you got a lot. Yeah. They say the Gaelic comes from the Hebrew. Yeah, exactly. I was going to say that as well. The Gaelic comes from the Hebrew. And if I remember correctly, a lot of the old writings, it has similarities to the old Hebrew as well. That's why I'm saying, there is no single original Hebrew.
Sorry.
Skin tone. I believe it. All of us, literally, we stem from Adam. If you think about it, we're all related. Then we all came from Noah and his family. So literally, everyone here, no matter what skin color, where you're at, we all come from the same person, Adam, who Yahuwah built. He made in his image, breathed life into him. That's why, grafted in and all this, that's how we are grafted in. That's how you can be grafted in, is because you are originally part of that. No matter how far back you go in your family line, we're all a part of that. And yeah, the letters look alike in the Gaelic and the Hebrew. Oh yeah, my mom was studying Gaelic actually when I was a teenager. Because she has Scottish and Irish So I guess I have some Scottish in me as well. Scottish, more Irish than Scottish, but because my dad has Irish in him as well, Irish and German. Okay. Where'd you get that?
From Grandma.
Um, anyways, I gotta go.
Don't forget the one
Callan's
more
get-
thing.
Callan's getting kind of wild. But thank you all for watching. Thank you for tuning in. Scottish. Anthony, I'm Scottish, Irish with a Native American. Yeah, I got Native American Cherokee from both sides actually. Anyways, thank you all for tuning in. Thank you.
Bye.
I love all of you guys. Please like and share. Hit the like button. Most definitely that helps with the algorithms to get it out there. Please join me next week, same time, same place.
Bye.
I'm still working on my Mark video. I want to make sure to have everything and all my evidence laid out well enough to have solid proof. So I've been working on that.
Bye,
But-
everybody. Shalom.
Stay tuned for that.
Shalom, everybody. Not
yes.
so. On
But oh yeah, my new picture.
of Yahuwah.
We've survived famines before and will again. Absolutely, brother. But yes, thank you all. Thank you all. I love you all. And we will see you next weekend.
Bye. Shalom.
Shalom, shalom, shalom.
Shalom, everybody. Believe in